If everybody understands you, you're probably still on the ground. Listen carefully. You must understand this. The moment your focus sharpens, the moment your vision stops being entertainment and becomes instruction, the crowd that once clapped for you shifts, and the laughter that used to include you goes quiet, and you start asking, what did I do wrong? The truth is, the problem is not your character, the problem is your altitude. Altitude offends the comfortable because it exposes the gravity they're married to. When you break agreement with distractions, it can feel like you broke agreement with people. Until you understand that separation is a sign, you will misdiagnose your season and medicate your purpose with companionship. Some of you are grieving the silence of the group chat, the absence of weekend invitations, the empty calendar that used to prove you were wanted. You see the photos where your name didn't make the tag. You hear the inside jokes that used to be yours, and you wonder if your focus has made you unlovable. No, hear me. Focus does not make you unlovable. Focus makes you uncommon. And uncommon always feels lonely before it feels legendary. Write this down. When my focus increases, my circle must be refined. And sometimes God does the refining by letting your appetite outgrow your environment. That ache you feel is not just loneliness, it is purpose, stretching your capacity. That confusion is not a curse, it is a compass. The conversations that now feel shallow are not proof that you're arrogant. They are proof that your assignment is calling you deeper. In the kingdom, isolation is often God's classroom for elevation. He calls you apart before he sends you forth. He prunes before he multiplies. He hides you to heal you. He separates you to sanctify your focus. He closes doors to teach you discernment so that when he opens gates, you won't waste access on old appetites. Some of you are interpreting holy separation as human rejection, and because you're idolizing companionship over calling, you keep running back to rooms you've outgrown to prove you're still nice. Please hear me. Niceness without assignment is negligence. Love people, yes. Honor them, yes. But do not negotiate your destiny to maintain a seat in a circle that mocks your future. Say it with me right where you are, and say it like you mean it. I am not abandoned. I am being appointed. Again, let it settle in your bones. I am not abandoned. I am being appointed. Now I want you to write down what you are being separated from. Be honest. Write the names if you must, but more importantly, write the patterns. Write the late night scrolling that kills your morning strength. Write the sarcastic banter that feeds cynicism. Write the business deals that feel like easy money but break your integrity. Write the habit of explaining your obedience to people who have no covenant with your destiny. Write down the fear of being called too much, too intense, too spiritual. Write it all down, because you cannot govern what you won't name. And leadership begins with self-government. The kingdom gives you dominion first over you, your mind, your mouth, your moods, before it trusts you with territory. If your focus has offended someone who prefers your former self, thank God for the free assessment. Direction reveals connection. The ones who are truly joined to your future will not be offended by your boundaries. They will be relieved by your clarity. Let me ask you a question that defines this entire journey. How do you stay committed to growth when growth makes you unpopular? How do you remain faithful to an assignment that costs you applause? This is not a hype speech. This is a principled path. The law is simple but not easy. You were not created to be understood by everyone. You were created to finish what God started in you. Finishing requires focus, and focus requires filters. And filters require the courage to say no without explaining yes. I got news for you. The more accurate your vision, the more automatic your division. Not division from love, not division from humility, but division from complacency, from gossip, from comparison, from the addiction to being liked. Some of you are in shock because people you blessed are now bothered by your boundaries. You're discovering that the same crowd that celebrated your potential can be threatened by your process. That is not a sign to lower your standards. It's a sign to lift your eyes. Eagles fly alone, not because they are antisocial, but because altitude is a stewardship. When your wings find the wind of purpose, the air thins and the chatter dies, and you realize the quiet is not emptiness. It is equipment, silence that lets you hear God. Solitude that matures your thoughts. Separation that forges your convictions. Will you use the silence for self-pity or for strategy? Will you use the free evenings to binge the old noise or to build new muscle? Please write this down. Loneliness can be a lab where God engineers leaders. Until you understand that elevation demands consecration, you will sabotage your own ascent by asking ground level opinions for sky level instructions. Stop asking pigeons for eagle directions. Stop forwarding your blueprint to people who specialize in small. Stop hiding your light to comfort those who refuse to adjust their eyes. The Spirit is not punishing you with distance. He is positioning you with discernment. He is teaching you to delight in His approval, to be anchored by His voice, to be fueled by assignment more than acknowledgement. Say it again, declare it over your mind. I am not abandoned. I am being appointed. So here is the promise I bring you today. If you will embrace this season without bitterness and steward this separation with discipline, you will find that what felt like a stripping is actually a stream of strategy. You will encounter clarity that reorganizes your days, a discipline that upgrades your energy, a prayer life that reclaims your courage, and a focus that frightens your fears. This is the hidden meaning of loneliness. Your focus is pulling you toward purpose. Do not waste this pull. Govern your mornings, protect your evenings, write what you hear in the quiet, and allow God to edit your guest list. You don't need everyone to understand you to fulfill what God assigned you. You need obedience. You need alignment. You need the audacity to believe that elevation is not a popularity contest. It is a purpose commission. And when your altitude offends, smile with compassion, bless with honor, and keep ascending. Your destiny is waving from the higher place, and it is worth every misunderstood moment along the way. Listen carefully. You must understand this. You cannot discover why you were born by asking people who were born just like you. A product does not interview another product to learn its purpose. It returns to the manufacturer. It opens the manual. It checks the specifications, and it obeys the design. The problem is not that you lack potential. The problem is that you keep submitting your life for inspection at the wrong factory. Until you understand that your identity is sourced in the one who made you, you will live from survey results instead of revelation. I got news for you. The crowd can like you and still mislabel you. Heaven can assign you and earth can misunderstand you at the same time. Which voice will define your future? The one who formed you in the dark or the ones who found you on their feed? Write this down. You were not created to fit in. You were created to finish. The kingdom never calls you to be impressive. It calls you to be obedient. The world asks, do they like you? Heaven asks, did you obey? The applause of man is seasonal. The approval of the king is eternal. When you measure your value by popularity, you hand your steering wheel to people who don't even know where they're going. But when you measure by assignment, you anchor your soul to a compass that does not flinch in the storm. That is why your focus has been separating you, because assignment and applause rarely live in the same room. Purpose is a jealous lover. It will not share your heart with the addiction to approval. Let me speak plainly to your spirit. You are called. You are set apart. You are chosen. You are entrusted. Those are not religious compliments. That is language of government. Set apart does not mean strange without substance. It means dedicated to a specific use. Different is not a dysfunction. Different is a designation. The seal of the manufacturer is on your life. And with that seal comes instructions, boundaries, specifications. The manual says you are engineered for dominion over your mind, your time, your appetite, your environment. The manual says you carry treasure in an earthen vessel, a deposit that must be returned with interest, finished, multiplied, and accounted for. The manual says the one who began a good work intends to finish it through you. So hear me, to be consecrated is not to be better than people. It is to be bound to purpose. Say it with me right now. Let it come out of your mouth and fix your posture. I am not just different. I am dedicated. The danger of approval addiction is subtle but deadly. When you need people to validate every decision, you make them your tower. Every flight becomes a performance off their roof. If they clap, you soar. If they frown, you fold. That is not leadership. That is captivity disguised as community. Leaders govern themselves by conviction before they govern others by charisma. Leaders carry an internal yes that does not tremble when external voices fluctuate. Please write this down. Needing validation keeps you on the ground. If you must be constantly affirmed to stay faithful, you have not yet met the King in a way that ruins you for the crowd. I love people, honor people, serve people, but I refuse to worship people. You cannot mount up with wings as an eagle while bowing to the idol of being liked. Are there eagles in this room? Then hear the protocol of your species. Eagles don't attend pigeon committees to get permission to fly. Eagles are built for thermals, not sidewalks. Eagles carry a vision that sees beyond the next street to the next mountain, and because of that, they accept the price of altitude, thin air, fewer voices, clearer skies. Direction creates division. Even the word proves it. D2, vision, sight. When you receive a God vision, your life splits from conformity. Not from love, not from humility, but from the settling that keeps generations small. And it is right there in the splitting that you must decide whose question owns you. Will you live answering, do they like me, or am I finishing what God sent me to do? I want you to write something and do not delay. Take your phone, your journal, the back of a receipt, and write this sentence. What do I believe God put me on earth to finish, not to start, not to sample, to finish? Because focus begins with naming the assignment. If you can't name it, you can't guard it. If you won't write it, you won't wait it. When you name it, your calendar starts to fear you. When you name it, your appetite starts to respect you. When you name it, your no discovers its backbone, and your yes stops bleeding into everything. Please write it down now. Write it with trembling if you must, but write it. Your destiny is allergic to vague. Some of you are scared to write it because the moment ink hits paper, excuses lose their power. Welcome to self-government. The kingdom gives you rulership over your inner nation before it trusts you with outer nations. Govern your minutes if you want to influence years. Govern your mornings if you want to shape decades. Govern your appetites if you want to carry anointing that doesn't leak. The truth is, responsibility is your runway. Discipline is your wind. Prayer is your fuel. Obedience is your lift. And when you couple that with clarity, altitude is inevitable. People will think you changed, and you did. You moved from public opinion to manufacturer intention. So receive this correction as compassion. Stop asking cultures for definitions that only the Creator can give. Stop adjusting your design to fit containers that were never meant to hold you. Open the manual. Let the Word tell you who you are. Let the Spirit remind you whose you are. Let the assignment you wrote down tell you where you are going. And when familiar voices question your consecration, bless them and keep building. When popularity tempts you to dilute, remember the warranty. Misuse voids protection. You were designed for a specific function in a specific generation. You are not a random part in a cosmic junkyard. You are a commissioned instrument in a royal workshop. I want you to say this with conviction until your bones believe it. I was not created to fit in. I was created to finish. Again, louder inside, louder than the fear. I was not created to fit in. I was created to finish. Now protect that confession with action. Guard your identity like a treasure under assignment. Choose mentorship over approval. Purpose-aligned relationships over convenient company. Measure your days not by how many liked you, but by how much you obeyed. And as you do, the loneliness you felt will turn into leverage. The separation will turn into strategy, and your life will move from impressive to impactful, from busy to completed, from noticed to necessary. Finish well, because heaven is not hosting a popularity contest. Heaven is awaiting a report. Listen carefully. You must understand this. The moment you put ink on that assignment, the moment your why becomes weight, your relationships will walk into a furnace, because vision always creates division. Write this down and say it out loud so your mind stops negotiating. Vision produces division. Why? Because when you see differently, you choose differently. And when you choose differently, you walk differently. And when you walk differently, you end up on different roads with different travelers at different speeds toward different destinations. I got news for you. Division is built into the word. D means two. Vision means sight. When there are two sights in the same life, you have division. And a divided vision becomes a diluted life. Until you understand that division is a feature of focus, not a failure of friendship, you will keep trying to hold hands with everyone while carrying what only your hands were designed to hold. Let me make this plain, because your heart needs courage to do what your eyes already see. Separation isn't always personal. Sometimes it's directional. Two people can love each other and still be boarding different gates. You can hug at the terminal, trade prayers, bless each other's journeys, and still not sit on the same plane. That is not betrayal, that is itinerary. The problem is not that they are evil or that you are arrogant. The problem is that your routes have been assigned by different mandates. If I am called north and you are assigned south, love does not fix a compass. It only warms the goodbye. So stop turning directional clarity into character assassination. Stop letting guilt sabotage your gait. If you force yourself to remain where your spirit no longer fits, you are not being loyal, you are being delayed. I want you to hear the distinction between ground relationships and sky relationships, and I need you to honor both without confusing their access. Ground relationships are built on convenience, on proximity, on history, on familiarity. Same street, same shifts, same stories. They are not evil. They are foundational seasons that taught you laughter and language. But sky relationships are different. Sky relationships are covenantal. They are principle-based. They are purpose-aligned. Sky relationships talk accountability more than entertainment, intercession more than gossip, strategy more than scandal. Ground relationships ask, are you coming tonight? Sky relationships ask, are you becoming who God said? Ground relationships are gravity. Sky relationships are thermals. If you keep asking ground people to breathe sky air, they will resent the altitude and call you complicated. And if you keep feeding sky people ground level drama, they will respectfully step back, because turbulence is not a hobby at higher levels. Direction reveals connection. The ones connected by purpose will not argue with your boundaries. They will help you pack. Now hear me with maturity. Focus will change your appetite. When your eyes adjust to vision, your palate adjusts to destiny. You stop craving what drains you. You lose the taste for dead conversations, and it confuses people who only knew you as the comedian in their chaos. You used to feast on sarcasm, on scrolling, on subtle compromise, and now your mouth feels dry around it. That is not you judging them. That is your spirit refusing malnutrition. Egos do not scavenge, they hunt fresh. Some will misread your new diet as condemnation because your change exposes their comfort. But the truth is, you are just saving your strength for the mountain. Stop apologizing for being healthy. When God shifts your appetite, He is securing your assignment. I want you to do something right now, because revelation without application is just entertainment. Take a breath and write this down quickly before your feelings talk you out of it. Identify 3 distractions that have been posing as friendships. Name the pattern if you can't write the person. First, constant drama. The friend whose life is a siren, always an emergency, always a crisis that somehow never changes because crisis is their currency. Second, casual compromise. The companion who negotiates your standards with a wink, who baptizes disobedience in phrases like God understands, who makes you feel naive for guarding your purity. Third, time theft, the association that disrespects your schedule, your mornings, your study, your prayer, treating your purpose like spare change in their pocket. Now, next to each name or pattern, I want you to calculate the cost. How many hours in a week does their drama consume? That is time converted to chapters unwritten, ideas unbuilt, rest unstolen, prayers unprayed. How many convictions have slipped a millimeter after each compromise? That is purity. Measure the erosion of your sharpness, the dulling of your discernment. How many days have started late? How many workouts missed? How many moments of clarity fragmented because time theft kept you up feeding an appetite that isn't yours? That is momentum. See the delay, feel the drag. Please write it. Leaders measure what drains them so they can steward what sustains them. Some of you are resisting because you equate boundaries with betrayal. Listen carefully. You can love them and limit them. You can bless them and bench them. Covenant is not the same as convenience. Access is stewardship. And at higher altitudes, oxygen is precious. The ones who are truly for you will not compete with your consecration. They will celebrate it. The ones who only loved you when you were available to enable them will accuse you when you become available to obey God. Direction reveals connection. Do not be shocked. Be discerning. Do not be bitter, be precise. Do not be petty, be principled. I got news for you. The moment you commit to vision, heaven exposes agreements that cannot travel. This is mercy. It hurts, but it heals. It is better to cry over a boundary today than to bury a destiny tomorrow. Eagles see farther because their eyes are built differently. Scientists tell us an eagle can spot detail miles away. That is why they're not anxious about every rustle in the grass. They are focused on the target beyond the tree line. When your sight lengthens, your steps slow, your span broadens, and your small talk shrinks. Some will say you've changed. Smile and agree. You have. You change your focal length. You change your diet. You change your circle from who is near me to who is called with me. Say this with me until it clicks into your spine. I choose vision over validation. Again, louder in your soul than the old invitations. I choose vision over validation. And now seal it with practice. When the text comes to rejoin the old distraction, don't reply with a sermon. Reply with a schedule. I am building from 6 to 9. When compromise winks, do not debate. Declare your standard and change the subject. When time theft knocks, open the calendar and treat your purpose like a meeting with a king. Because that's exactly what it is. You will be misunderstood for a moment, but you will be measured by your finish. Until you understand this, you will think you are losing people. In reality, you are gaining precision. You are not abandoning love. You are aligning loyalty. You are not becoming harsh. You are becoming holy, set apart for a function, sharpened for a finish. The moment you commit to vision, your relationships will be tested because direction reveals connection. Let the test work for you. Bless ground relationships without asking them to be sky. Pursue sky relationships without despising the ground that grew you. Guard your appetite like treasure. And as you do, the very division that frightened you will become the doorway that frees you. Now mount up, stay locked in, and keep your eyes where the king is pointing. The air is thinner up here, but the view is clearer, and your destiny is waiting at the gate. Listen carefully. You must understand this. When you start climbing, the first thing you hear is not always the wind beneath your wings. Sometimes it's the chatter from the ground trying to call you back. I call it pigeon talk. Pigeon talk is the language that normalizes smallness. It sounds friendly, familiar, even funny, but its goal is to shrink your sky. Why are you doing so much? Who do you think you are? It doesn't take all that. That is the hymn book of mediocrity. It often comes wrapped in a laugh, a wink, a story about how somebody else tried that and failed. A sideways compliment disguised as care. But hear me, not every familiar voice is a faithful voice. The ones who grew up with you may not be graced to grow with you, and the chorus of comfort will always be loud when your courage begins to rise. You must train your ears like an instrument under assignment, because what you hear consistently becomes what you believe eventually. Some of you are being worn down by mockery that looks like jokes, by subtle guilt that feels like love, by teasing that calls itself truth. They exclude you from the table, then tell you that your standards are the problem. They bait you into endless explanations. Come on, loosen up. Don't be deep. We miss the old you. And you start negotiating with your conviction because you don't want to be misunderstood. Listen carefully. The temptation to explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you is a trap. It drains your energy, dulls your edge, and slowly moves the boundary stones of your life one innocent inch at a time. Eagles do not write essays to pigeons explaining thermals. Eagles keep flying. Why? Because altitude is stewardship and oxygen is precious. And if you spend your air arguing, you will suffocate your assignment. I want you to write something down right now, because leaders don't just feel, leaders measure. Write this sentence. Not every familiar voice is a faithful voice. Now write the diagnostic questions that will govern your heirs. After I talk to them, do I feel clearer or confused? After I talk to them, do I feel stronger or smaller? After I talk to them, do I feel convicted toward growth or excused toward compromise? Write them again in your own words until your conscience remembers them in the moment of pressure. And add this one: do they increase my discipline or dilute my diligence? When you track your conversations like a ledger, you will see the pattern. Some associations are deposits, others are withdrawals with high interest. Counsel deposits wisdom, control withdraws willpower. Counsel asks questions to sharpen you, control issues commands to shrink you. Counsel respects your God, control replaces your God. Love can live where compatibility cannot. You can love them deeply and still accept that your altitudes are incompatible. I got news for you. The enemy of your soul is not creative. He is strategic. The greatest resistance against your assignment rarely shows up as a demon in the window. It shows up as pressure at the dinner table. He will borrow the tone of a cousin, the phrasing of a friend, the sigh of a spouse who is afraid of change, and he will stitch guilt onto your obedience. Oh, so now you're too good for us. You think you're better. You're so intense, and you wanting peace will try to be less focused, less prayerful, less prepared, so you can be more accepted. That is not peacemaking. That is purpose suicide. Peace is not the absence of pressure. Peace is the presence of proper order. Your life must be ordered by the king's assignment first, or nothing else you arrange will hold. Write this down. Counsel sharpens purpose. Control shrinks it. And if a voice consistently shrinks your purpose, its access must be reduced, not to punish them, but to protect your destiny. Let me help you distinguish the two in real time, because discernment is not spooky, it is skill. Counsel sounds like this: what has God said to you? How can I help you stay accountable? Let's look at the calendar and make space for your training. Counsel gives principle, shares perspective, and then releases you to obey. Control sounds like this: I don't think you should be doing all that. You're neglecting us because of this vision. Skip your plan. Come hang out. God knows your heart. Counsel respects your boundaries. Control resents them. Counsel celebrates your standards even when they are inconvenient. Control bargains with them when they are inconvenient. And here's the test that never lies. Counsel leaves you with courage. Control leaves you with confusion. After you meet, check your pulse. Stronger or smaller, clearer or clouded, conviction or compromise. If confusion is consistent, the relationship is controlling you, even if it is smiling. Please hear the sobriety in my voice, because I say this as a father, as a coach, as a fellow soldier in this kingdom. If you keep negotiating your calling to keep everyone comfortable, you will eventually betray it. Betrayal doesn't always feel like a knife. Sometimes it feels like a nap. A little sleep on diligence. A little folding of the hands on discipline. A small adjustment here. A delayed decision there. And years later you will stand before the mirror with gray in your hair and wonder why the book wasn't written, why the idea wasn't built, why the purity turned into permission. The price of betrayal is not paid when you compromise. It is paid when you count. At the end of life, at the edge of your breath, when the king asks for a report, popularity receipts will not balance your ledger. I want you to make a decision today not to add your unrealized potential to the cemetery's wealth because you couldn't endure a few offended opinions. Are there eagles in this room? Then hear me and join me at the top in your mind first. Guard your gates. Your ear is a gate. Your eye is a gate. Your calendar is a gate. Your heart is a vault under government. And access is granted by principle, not by history. Give honor to the familiar, but do not give them your steering wheel. Bless those who tease you, but do not let their laughter rewrite your laws. Love those who feel left behind, but do not let their loneliness become your leash. You can be compassionate without being controlled. You can be humble without being handled. You can be kind and still keep your keys. Say this with me: until it resets your boundaries. Not every familiar voice is a faithful voice. Again, from your belly with conviction, not every familiar voice is a faithful voice. Now let's close the loop with practice, because inspiration without discipline is still disobedience. When pigeon talk shows up, why are you doing so much? Who do you think you are? It doesn't take all that. You will not debate, you will diagnose. Ask your questions, find your answer, and then choose your response. If it's counsel, lean in. If it's control, lean out. If it's confusion, limit access. If it's courage, make a covenant. And stop explaining your consecration like it's a crime scene. You are not on trial for being focused. You are under orders to finish. When they mock your early mornings, bless them and set your alarm. When they tease your standards, laugh and keep your standard. When they exclude you from the table, don't get bitter. Build your table and set out living food for those who are hungry for purpose. Because here is the secret. Your consistency will outpreach their criticism. Your fruit will silence their forecast. And your finish will teach your family more than your arguments ever could. This is your moment to choose what you hear. And by choosing to choose who you become, protect your ears like an eagle protects its eyes. One grain of sand can blind you. One grain of gossip can blur your discernment. Lift your head, set your face like flint, and steward the soundscape of your life. And as you do, loneliness will turn into language with the King. Separation will turn into strategy, and your heart will grow strong enough to love without losing itself. Not every familiar voice is a faithful voice, but the faithful voice of the King is steady, and it is calling you higher. Answer him with your focus. Answer him with your calendar. Answer him with your no that protects your yes. And finish what he sent you to do. Listen carefully. You must understand this. The King loves you too much to let you die comfortable. He is not raising pigeons to peck sidewalks. He is training eagles to govern skies. I got news for you. He will not coddle what he intends to crown. When purpose matures, God disturbs the nest. What once felt like a cushion begins to itch. What once soothed you now stings you. The jokes that used to keep you laughing now keep you low. Why? Because elevation is here, and your comfort is lying to your capacity. Until you understand that discomfort can be divine training, you will waste precious seasons rebuking what you should be reading. Let me paint the picture the manufacturer already built into creation. The mother eagle builds her nest with branches and bones and thorns, and then she lines it with fur and feathers to cradle the eaglets through infancy. But when their wings are ready, when their bones can bear weight they have never known, she does something that would offend a sentimental heart. She begins to pull the feathers out. One by one, she exposes the thorns. When the eaglet lies down where it once felt easy, it now feels a prick, a push, a no from the nest. If the eaglet refuses to move, she stirs the nest until the edges come alive, and if still it resists, she gives a nudge off the cliff, then hovers, then watches, then undergirds, then catches, and then does it again and again until wings remember what they were designed to do. Please write this down. What feels like rejection may be God removing comfort so you can discover capacity. The problem is not that the nest hates you. The problem is that you have outgrown it. Some of you are in a nest thorns moment right now, and your language is betraying your training. You keep calling it weird, awkward, frustrating, betrayal, burnout, but I want to rename it for you. This is holy agitation. Friendships that once fit now pinch. Conversations that once fueled now flatten. The office that once felt like promotion now feels like a hallway. The entertainment that once numbed you now nauseates you. The hobby that once relaxed you now robs you of mornings that belong to your assignment. Your bed is comfortable, but your spirit is not. Your bank account is stable, but your dreams feel restless. Your calendar is full, but your heart is empty. Listen carefully. Discomfort is a message, not a mistake. Not every thorn is the devil. Sometimes it's the designer. He is not trying to hurt you. He is extracting you. Extraction always feels like loss to what is leaving, but it feels like liberty to what is living inside you. Write this down and circle it until it sinks from your mind into your marrow. Discomfort is often divine training. God disturbs the nest to awaken your wings. The truth is, many of us are more loyal to relief than to results, more loyal to preference than to purpose. So God, in His mercy, interrupts our anesthesia. He lets boredom settle where fun once was to hint that playtime is over. He lets conviction sting where compromise was cozy to alert you that purity is your power. He lets constraints tighten around your time and money so you will budget like a leader, not binge like a child. He lets restlessness rise in rooms you once called home so your feet will find the cliff and your faith will meet the wind. Now hear the correction with compassion. Do not medicate divine discomfort with cheap distraction. Stop scrolling to silence your summons. Stop shopping to avoid your stretching. Stop snacking on gossip to numb your growth pains. Stop taking naps on the hour your wings were meant to train. Inspiration without discipline is still disobedience. Here is your response pattern, and I want you to write it down. Number one, interpret, ask, Lord, what are you saying through this thorn? Number two, intercede, pray through the sensation until peace replaces panic and instruction replaces irritation. Number three, implement, convert the message into movement on your calendar. If the thorn is restlessness, schedule focus training. If the thorn is conviction, set a standard and publish it to your own conscience. If the thorn is dissatisfaction, research, plan, and prototype the next step. If the thorn is constraint, honor it as curriculum. Budget, simplify, eliminate, allocate. Movement is the medicine for holy agitation. I want you to do this right now. Leaders don't just cry about pain, they translate it. Identify the specific thorn the king is allowing in your life. Restlessness, dissatisfaction, conviction, constraint, and ask this question out loud so your fear can hear it. What flight is this forcing me to learn? If it is restlessness, perhaps you are being trained for early mornings with the manual, for long stretches of study, for deep work that refuses to flinch. If it is dissatisfaction, perhaps you must upgrade skills, pursue certification, master a new tool, refine a gift that has been casual. If it is conviction, perhaps the flight is purity under pressure, guarding your eyes, fasting from the old diet, closing doors you used to flirt with, locking gates you used to leave open. If it is constraint, perhaps the flight is stewardship, budgeting your resources, telling your time where to go, living on less to build what is next. Are there eagles in this room? Then answer like eagles. Let your journal hear your decision. Let your calendar bow to your confession. You must understand this. When the eaglet first falls, it does not look graceful. There is flapping, there is fear, there is the ground coming fast. But there is also a shadow with feathers spread wider than fear. Those everlasting arms beneath you, that faithful father above you, the one who stirred the nest is the same. One who hovers, who catches, who carries you back up and drops you again until panic becomes pattern, until instinct becomes instruction, until gravity becomes your gym. So stop interpreting the first fall as failure. Success in the kingdom is a series of obedient attempts under supervision. Write it down. Try, then trust, then try again. Pray, then push, then pray again. The faster you respond, the faster you learn. The faster you learn, the sooner you stop falling and start flying. Let me be practical, because this is not poetry, this is protocol. If your thorn is in your schedule, set a wake up that honors your wings and refuse to negotiate with your pillow. If your thorn is in your finances, put your purpose on a budget. Cancel what does not serve your assignment and fund what does. If your thorn is in relationships, have the honorable conversation. Redefine access and replace convenience with covenant. If your thorn is in your skill, enroll, study, rehearse, and submit your work to feedback that makes you soar and strong. If your thorn is in your soul, fast from the noise, sit in silence long enough to hear instruction, and let the word recalibrate your identity until you stop chasing applause and start chasing accuracy. This is self-government. This is leadership. This is maturity under a king. Say it with me. So your nerves become your servants and not your masters. The nest is moving me, not destroying me. Again, louder than your nostalgia. The nest is moving me, not destroying me. Please write this last line and put it where your eyes cannot ignore it. I will not curse the thorn. I will use it for thrust. And as you obey, as you choose interpretation over irritation, prayer over panic, movement over murmuring, you will discover that the edge you feared is actually a runway, that the push you resented was a promotion, and that the ache you tried to medicate was the alarm of destiny. God does not waste his comfort on eagles. He invests it to awaken your wings. Now step to the edge, feel the wind, trust the catcher, and train until your falling turns into flying. Listen carefully. You must understand this. Elevation without evaluation is a trap. When God disturbs the nest and pushes you off the familiar, you will be tempted to grasp any hand that reaches, but at higher altitudes, not every hand can hold you. Not every smile can spot you. Not every voice deserves your ear. Trust is proven, not promised. Write that down and underline it. Trust is proven, not promised. We are not insulting people. We are stewarding purpose. The life you carry, the assignment on your name, the hours on your calendar, and the oxygen of your focus are holy resources under a king. And stewardship means access is granted by principle, not by pity, not by popularity, not by pressure. Are there eagles in this room? Then join me at the top and hear the law of the rare breed. Eagles always test before they trust. I want to show you why testing is love, not arrogance. In creation, the female eagle does not fall into covenant because the male is cute or because he can sing a song in the morning. She initiates a test. She lifts a twig high into the blue and she drops it, and the male must dive like a decision and catch that twig before it hits the rocks. And she does it again from higher, and again in more wind, and again in thicker clouds, until his consistency writes a contract in the sky. What is she doing? She is proving capacity. She is proving commitment. She is proving character under pressure. Because if he cannot catch a twig, he cannot catch her in a storm. Please write this down. The test is mercy because it protects covenant from convenience. If you marry convenience, you will divorce in crisis. If you partner with charisma, you will panic in pressure. But if you covenant with character, you will calm the wind together and finish your race. The truth is, at higher levels, relationships must be covenant-minded. Access is earned through consistency and character. Say it with me until your old habits resign. I will not give my destiny to casual relationships. Again, so your phone and your calendar hear you. I will not give my destiny to casual relationships. One more time, with the conviction of a gatekeeper under orders. I will not give my destiny to casual relationships. Why? Because casual hands drop serious callings, and casual ears leak sacred conversations, and casual feet wander when purpose demands a watchman. The king is not impressed with your crowd. He is measuring your company. Two are better than one, but only when the second is wise, loyal, and aligned. Iron sharpens iron, but only when both allow friction and refuse flattery. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but only when love governs the blade and purpose sets the angle. Let's get extremely practical, because leadership is logistics before it is applause. How do you test at altitude? First, watch how they handle your boundaries. Do they honor your early mornings, your study hours, your Sabbath, your consecration windows, or do they negotiate them like discounts? Second, observe whether they celebrate your growth without making it about them. Can they clap when you fly, or do they cough when your wings expand? Third, test for correction capacity. Can they tell you the truth in love without shaming you, and can you receive it without defending your ego? Fourth, confidentiality. When you whisper strategy or confess a weakness, does the room stay closed, or do you hear your own business coming back to you in someone else's tone? Fifth, consistency. Do they show up when you are not performing, not entertaining, not paying, not trending? Write this as a diagnostic liturgy. Boundaries honored, growth celebrated, truth delivered with love, secrets buried, not broadcast, consistency without conditions. If these are absent, access must be adjusted, not because you hate them, but because you refuse to hate your assignment. I got news for you. Communicating boundaries is not rudeness. It is righteous clarity. The problem is not that you have standards. The problem is that you have been apologizing for them. Stop apologizing for what keeps you accurate. Speak in principles rather than accusations. Instead of you distracting me, say, I am guarding my focus in this season. Instead of you using me, say, I am simplifying my commitments to honor my assignment. Instead of you drain me, say, I am protecting my energy for the work the King has given me. Instead of you never support me, say, I am surrounding myself with people who will hold me accountable to the vision. Principle language disarms pride and centers purpose. It keeps honor in the conversation while keeping compromise out of your calendar. Your goal is not to punish. Your goal is to prioritize. Your goal is not to be superior. Your goal is to be accurate. Hear the heart of a father. Distance is not dishonor, and access is not automatic. You can love people generously while you guard your gates diligently. Jesus loved the multitudes, trained the 70, mentored the 12, and confided in 3. That is not favoritism, that is governance. Your destiny cannot be managed with vague access and random loyalty. At your new altitude, oxygen is thin, and if you do not choose companions who bring their own oxygen, prayer life, discipline, integrity, they will suffocate your momentum while asking you to explain why you are tired. Choose people who pray with you before they post you. Choose people who are not threatened by your wins and not entertained by your wounds. Choose people who can say no to you without fear and say yes to the work without brides. Choose people who can hold your history without handcuffing your future. Now I want you to move from amens to assignments. Open your journal. Leaders write what they intend to enforce. Title a fresh page. Inner circle non-negotiables. Then write sentences that become gates. Write, anyone in my inner circle must protect confidentiality like a covenant. Write, anyone in my inner circle must honor my spiritual disciplines and never bargain them down. Write, anyone in my inner circle must celebrate progress without jealousy and confront drift without flattery. Write, anyone in my inner circle must be consistent when I am not convenient. Right. Anyone in my inner circle must be submitted to principle, not personality. And then big and bold across the bottom so you see it. When you are lonely and tempted to compromise, I will not give my destiny to casual relationships. Let your pen prophesy. Let your schedule submit to what you wrote. Some of you are worried. If I set these standards, will I lose people? Listen carefully. You might. But what you lose in company, you will gain in clarity. And clarity is oxygen. The ones you lose to standards, we're going to leave you at storms. Better to reveal it now with a test than to discover it later with a crash. And for those who pass the test, honor them. Reward consistency with proximity. Convert faithful acquaintances into covenant partners. Break bread with them. Pray with them. Plan with them and give them keys to areas where competency and character align. At altitude, trust is not a feeling, it is a file of past tests. Keep the files, review the files, update the files. This is not paranoia, this is protocol. I want to finish with this blessing and this charge. May the King send you people who carry wind in their words and steel in their spines, people who can lift you without losing themselves, people who will guard your revelations like seeds until harvest. And may He give you the courage to test before you trust, to speak with honor while holding your line, to select covenant over convenience until your circle looks like a council and your friendships feel like fuel. Say it once more, like a vow at the edge of your next level. I will not give my destiny to casual relationships. Now seal it with action. Adjust the access. Schedule the conversations. Write the standards. And watch how peace returns to your mind. Focus returns to your hands. And acceleration returns to your path. This is leadership. This is self-government. This is how eagles build company for the climb. Listen carefully. You must understand this. The moment you set standards, the weather changes. The moment you protect your gates, the wind picks up. The phone grows quiet. The weekends look empty. And your flesh starts bargaining for normal. But normal was the cage. I got news for you. What feels like failure might be the forecast of your next level. In the kingdom, storms are not sent to sink eagles. Storms are designed to serve them. Eagles love storms because storms lift what focus has prepared. Write this down. Pressure is not always proof you are wrong. It may be proof you are rising. Airplanes take off against the wind. Your resistance might be your runway. I want to pastor you through the ache of accuracy. When your focus separates you, your emotions will try to interpret the silence as rejection. The quiet phone whispers, you are forgotten. The empty calendar says, you are missing out. The familiar temptations hum, just come back for one night, be normal. But the truth is, you are not being ignored, you are being incubated. You are not missing out, you are being set apart. You are not going backwards, you are being brought into alignment. Until you understand this, you will keep crawling back to the crowd to treat a training season like a social crisis. The problem is not the separation, the problem is your interpretation. Write that down so your heart stops lying to your head. Let me explain the storm the way your manufacturer coded it into the eagle. When black clouds gather and other birds run for the hedges, the eagle faces the wind, fixes its gaze, locks its wings, and waits for the updraft. It does not panic. It does not flap. It positions. It aligns. And the very thing that terrifies the flock becomes the elevator for the rare breed. That is not poetry. That is protocol. In your storm season, screaming will not help you. Alignment will. Flailing will not help you. Formation will. Rushing back to the crowd will not help you. Remembering who you are will. So what do you do when separation feels like failure? I want you to write this down and make it your storm protocol. Say storm protocol. Number one, prayer for alignment. Do not start with people, start with the King. Prayer is not informing God, it is conforming you. Sit in his presence and report for duty. Pray in the spirit when your mind is noisy. Pray the promises when your soul is shaky. Alignment before action, write that. Number two, word intake for identity. In storms, voices multiply. You need vocabulary from heaven. Feed on living food. Read until a voice reads you. Meditate until your name is threaded into the promise. Say it out loud. I am who he says I am, not who silence suggests I am. Number three, silence for clarity. Turn down the digital thunder. Solitude is not emptiness, it is a meeting. Sit long enough for the mud to settle and the water to clear. In the hush, you will hear instructions you could not hear in the crowd. Number four, discipline routine for momentum. When feelings wobble, let structure walk. Wake at the hour you set. Move your body. Hydrate. Make your bed. Open the manual. Work your blocks. Journal your wins. Simple obedience builds unusual resilience. Momentum is a series of small loyalties done on schedule while the storm roars. Hear me carefully. There is a difference between isolation and solitude. Isolation is fear-based withdrawal. I am hiding. I am sulking. I am stewing in offense. Isolation partners with shame and breeds accusation. Solitude is purpose-based separation. I am meeting the King. I am receiving orders. I am refining my edge. Solitude partners with faith and birth strategy. One suffocates, the other breathes. One is a cave, the other is a council room. Do not call your isolation consecration. If God is not at the center, if instruction is not the fruit, if love is not increasing, you are not in solitude, you are in sulking. Step out of the shadows, step into the secret place, and let your separation become sanctuary. Now I want to confront the lies that circle in storm clouds. Open your journal. Leaders, write what lies try to live. At the top of the page, write this heading: lies of loneliness versus kingdom truth. On the left, write the lie. Your season is whispering, I am forgotten, I am failing, I am behind, I am missing out, I am wasting time, I am not enough. On the right, write the truth that breaks it. God is forming me. I am being trained. I am right on time with the author of time. I am being set apart. I am investing in roots for future fruit. I am equipped in Christ. Draw a line through the lie like you are cutting a rope. Speak the truth until your atmosphere submits. Say it with me. Separation is not failure, it is formation. Again, louder than the storm. Separation is not failure, it is formation. Some of you are tempted right now to call back what God canceled. to resurrect with the king retired, to re-add with your destiny subtracted, just to feel busy, just to feel like, just to feel human. Listen carefully. Familiarity is not therapy. It's a trap when purpose has moved on. Do not medicate your growth with yesterday's company. Call your future instead. Call it in prayer. Call it in planning. Call it in discipline hours that speak louder than your doubts. Your obedience is a magnet. Help is already moving in your direction while you keep the protocol. Let me give you a picture for your spirit. When an eagle faces a storm, it sets its wings at an angle calculated by design, not by the mood of the wind. The wind becomes an ally because the angle is correct. In storm seasons, set your life at the right angles. Angle your calendar toward devotion. Angle your mind toward scripture. Angle your habits toward excellence. Angle your speech toward faith. The wind that forced others into hiding will lift you above the clouds where the sun is still shining. Write this down. I will turn wind into wings. Say it again until your bones know it. I will turn wind into wings. And for those of you who say, but I am tired, flapping feels like drowning, I understand. That is why eagles do not outflap storms. They outfocus them. Lock your wings, prayer, word, silence, routine, and let the laws of the kingdom carry you. Those who wait on the Lord renew, not reduce. They mount, they do not mope. They run and are not weary because they run on instruction, not on impression. Put your hand on your chest and declare, I will not panic, I will prepare. I will not retreat, I will refine. I will not complain, I will convert this wind into lift. Before I close this moment, I want you to schedule your resilience. Right now, choose the hour you will meet the king tomorrow. Choose the chapter you will feed on. Choose the 30 minutes of silence you will protect like treasure. Choose the 2 priorities that advance your assignment regardless of the weather. Do not wait for calm to be consistent. Consistency creates calm. This is leadership. This is self-government. This is how eagles turn thunderstorms into elevators and separations into graduations. May the king himself strengthen your inner man, settle your nervous system, sharpen your senses, and surround you with angels who minister while you focus. May he convert every gust into gain, every cloud into classroom, every lonely night into holy formation. And when you rise, and you will rise, do not forget the protocol that carried you. Teach it to those coming behind you, and let your testimony be simple and strong. The storm did not stop me, it served me. Separation did not break me, it built me. I turned wind into wings, and I finished my assignment. Listen carefully, you must understand this. Altitude requires appetite. The wind may have lifted you, but what you feed on will decide if you stay up there or spiral back down. The problem is not always your wings. The problem is often your diet. Your focus is only as strong as your inputs, what you watch, what you replay, what you listen to, what you meditate on. That becomes the climate of your mind, the weather inside your chest. Until you understand that your mind is an ecosystem and not a moment, you will keep asking God for peace while you sponsor a storm with your screen, with your conversations, with your secret playlist and your midnight scrolling. Write this down. When you change altitude, you must change appetite. Feed your mind with what strengthens purpose. I got news for you. Eagles don't eat dead meat. Vultures love carcasses, because anything that's not moving doesn't resist. Pigeons peck at crumbs because it's easy. Ducks argue on the surface because they fear the deep. But eagles hunt living food, fresh, strong, nutrient dense, because their assignment demands it. Transfer that to your life. Dead conversations are carcasses. Gossip, cynicism, complaint, sarcasm, masquerading as humor, endless debates with no decisions. Nostalgia that worships yesterday and insults tomorrow. These are decaying meals for your destiny. Every time you chew on them, your vision loses muscle, your courage loses vitamins, your hope catches infections. Living conversations are prey that fights back. Truth spoken in love, wisdom that stretches you, strategy that assigns you, testimony that prophesies to your bones, correction that calls you higher. When you feed on these, your spirit rises, your mind sharpens, your habits upgrade. Say with me, I will feed on living food. Let's be practical. because leadership is logistics. When all company can't go with you, you must not leave your table empty. You must set a new table. Replace dead talk with disciplined inputs. Seek mentorship. Find one person a season ahead of you in character and competency, and submit your questions to their wisdom, not their popularity. Plant yourself in a faith community that builds not just a crowd that chills serve on a team. Pray in agreement. Carry vision with people who carry crosses, not just cameras. Curate content, books that instruct, teachings that align, biographies that mentor you at midnight, courses that stretch your skill until excellence feels normal. And hear me, serve in assignments that expose you to builders. Volunteer under weight, not under lights. Proximity to responsibility is a classroom. Stop begging for inspiration and place yourself where discipline is the culture and results are the language. I want to give you a weekly menu, because hope without a plan is just a wish. Write this down. First, 1 day for rest, holy, protected, non-negotiable, no guilt in ceasing. Rest is not laziness, it is obedience and trust that the King runs the universe without your hustle. Second, 1 fixed slot every week for skill building, 90 focus minutes minimum, where you study, rehearse, prototype, or practice the craft that serves your assignment. Calendar it and guard it like payroll. Third, 1 extended window for worship and prayer. Open the manual, sing until your soul remembers, pray in the spirit, intercede for your future and those assigned to you. Let God tune your instrument before you play the men. Fourth, 1 intentional connection for relationship cultivation with purpose-aligned people. Coffee with a builder, a Zoom with a mentor, dinner with a covenant couple. A mastermind call that ends with action items. If the conversation isn't producing clarity, courage, or calendar changes, review its access. And around these anchors, add a daily rhythm morning word intake before headlines. Midday gratitude check, evening review and repentance, digital sunset 1 hour before sleep, and 1 block daily where your phone is a guest, not a god. Now let's confront your gates, because algorithms are discipleship systems. They amplify what you feed them. If you scroll cynicism, you will swim in it tomorrow. If you feed on excellence, tomorrow will offer you more. So take authority. Mute gossiping voices, unfollow bitterness, unsubscribe from complaint. Replace them with teachers, intercessors, industry experts with integrity, builders whose fruit can be verified. Stock your nightstand with living pages, not just glowing screens. Load your commute with audio that trains, not just entertains. Put a whiteboard where you usually dump excuses and write the week's priorities where your eyes cannot lie to you. I need you to act, not just agree. Open your journal right now. At the top, write the 30-day mental diet. Then draw 2 columns. On the left, title it remove. On the right, title it add. Under remove, write 3 inputs you must eliminate for 30 days. Maybe it's the late night doom scroll, the group chat that gossips, the playlist that stirs your old patterns, the TV show that normalizes what you're trying to crucify. Under add, write 3 inputs you must install. Perhaps it's a daily reading plan, a weekly mentoring session, a course that upskills you, a morning worship set, an accountability call with a covenant friend. Circle them, date it, sign it like a contract with your future. Say it out loud so your emotions hear your orders. For 30 days, I will feed on living food. The truth is, when you change your appetite, your old cravings will protest. The first week feels like detox. Your fingers reach for the app you deleted. Your mind itches for the noise you muted. Your tongue looks for sugar in conversations that used to sweeten your insecurity. Do not interpret withdrawal as a sign to return. Interpret it as poison leaving your system. Week 2 brings flashes of clarity. You hear God faster. You finish tasks sooner. You stop explaining yourself to voices you already muted. Week 3, your cravings start to move. What bored you before now builds you. Silence becomes a sanctuary, not a sentence. Excellence tastes good. Week 4, you feel light. Your will feels strong. Your calendar reflects your confession. Please write this prophecy over your next 30 days. My appetite will align with my assignment. Guard your identity like a gatekeeper under royal orders. Post no trespassing over your mind. You are not rude, you are responsible. When familiar voices text, where are you? We miss you. Respond with honor and standards. I'm guarding my focus this month. I love you. Here are the windows. I'm available for purposeful connection. When they offer dead meat, do not preach, just decline. Not my diet. When loneliness knocks, feed it with the word, with worship, with a plan, with a call to a builder, with service to someone who needs what you've been hoarding in fear. The king is not starving you. He is training your palate for the table prepared in the presence of your enemies. Pigeons fight over crumbs in parking lots. Eagles dine on mountaintops with the wind as music. Choose your restaurant. I bless your mind with discipline and your ears with discernment. May the Spirit highlight every dead input and amplify every living stream. May your home feel like a library and an altar. May your car become a classroom. May your phone serve your purpose and never again seduce it. And when you feel the lift of clarity, don't apologize for it, steward it. Say it with me one more time like a vow. When I change altitude, I will change appetite. I will feed on living food. I will finish my assignment. Now, sign the diet, set the dates, adjust the gates, and watch your future come into focus as your mind learns the menu of destiny. Listen carefully. You must understand this. Once you change your appetite and guard your gates, the next battle is not with pigeons outside. It is with poisons inside. Separation can seduce you into two ditches, arrogance or resentment, and both are gravity. Pride says, I'm above them. Bitterness says, they owe me, and either one will clip your wings. The truth is, if you use your elevation to look down on people, you are already descending. And if you carry injury like a trophy, you are handcuffing your own future. Write this down. Honor is the oxygen of altitude, and forgiveness is the filter that keeps your heart breathing clean. Until you understand this, you will fly for a moment and fall for a memory. I want to pastor your exit strategy, because destiny is not only about how you start and soar, it is also about how you leave. You can outgrow a season without dishonoring the people in it. Say that with me. So the old offense has you. I can outgrow a season without dishonoring the people in it. Forgiveness is not reunion. Forgiveness is release. Releasing a debt does not require restarting a dinner. Blessing someone's future does not require booking them for yours. We are kingdom people. We do not slam doors and break windows to prove a point. We close doors gently, we lock them by principle, and we hang a sign that reads, honor still lives here. Are there eagles in this room? Then join me at the top and adopt the law of the rare breed. Leave well and keep your heart clean. The problem is not setting boundaries. The problem is how you speak while you set them. You don't owe the past a courtroom. You owe the future a clean conscience. So I want to put some scripts in your mouth, because wisdom gives words before the moment demands them. Write these down. When someone pulls you into the old alley of debate, respond with this. I'm grateful for the season we shared. My priorities have shifted to align with my assignment. I won't be as available, but I wish you strength and peace. That's honor. No debate, no daggers, just direction. When a familiar voice invites you back into old diet, answer, that's not part of my focus right now. I'm simplifying to serve my purpose. When gossip knocks, say, I don't participate in conversations that dishonor people. Let's pray or let's problem solve, but we won't poison. When you need to end a recurring entanglement, say, out of respect for what God is doing in me, I am stepping back. Thank you for understanding. Be blessed. Short, respectful, principle-based. No bartering with your destiny to save someone's opinion. No long explanations that make you hostage to their counter-argument. No emotional bargaining that reopens wounds you already surrendered. Now hear me as a father. Grief is holy when handled at the altar. You can mourn what was while obeying what is. It is not betrayal to shed a tear for a friendship that carried you for a season. It is betrayal to your calling to camp there after the cloud has moved. Israel cried when Moses died, and then they crossed the river with Joshua. There is a time to weep and a time to build. If you rush past your sadness, bitterness will hide in the hurry. If you worship your sadness, obedience will rust in nostalgia. So give your pain a place at the feet of the King, not in the theater of social media, in the secret place, not in public trials disguised as testimonies. Let God stitch the tear before you tear the next thing. I got news for you. God does not need your sarcasm to protect your future. He does not need your subtweets or your coded stories to settle scores. Vengeance is not your job description. Sowing and stewarding is. The judge sees. The king remembers. Your responsibility is to keep your heart fertile, not to keep a scoreboard of offenses. Write this down. I will not spend tomorrow's energy prosecuting yesterday's pain. Say it out loud. I release the courtroom. I choose the counsel room of purpose. Let's do holy business right now, because delays in forgiveness are taxes on destiny. Close your eyes where you are and open your heart like a file. Bring to the surface the names that make your chest tighten. The friend who misunderstood you, the leader who mishandled you, the family member who mocked your focus, the partner who broke covenant, the group who left when you needed them most. Do not argue with the memory. Present it. Now place your right hand over your heart and repeat after me like a decree. King Jesus, I report for cleansing. I release every name I am holding. I cancel the debt I have carried. I release the expectation that they will fix what they did not create. I bless them with peace, with wisdom, with salvation, with purpose. Guard my heart from contamination. Uproot the root of bitterness. Seal the cracks with your love. Teach me to remember with wisdom, not with poison. Rewire my reflexes to honor. I choose clean hands and a pure heart. I choose altitude over attitude. In your name, amen. Now breathe. That is not weakness, that is warfare. Forgiveness is not agreeing with wrong, it is refusing to become it. Forgiveness is not making excuses, it is refusing to be executed by memories. Forgiveness is not forgetting, it is remembering without venom. Eagles do not carry corpses in their talons. They release what is dead so they can rise where there is life. Say it with me. I don't carry dead weight, I carry vision. Practical counsel as you move on. Do not host a farewell tour of accusations. No long letters rehearsing every wound. No meetings designed to just get closure that are really auditions for re-entry. Closure is an act of leadership, not a committee decision. If reconciliation is appropriate and mutually submitted to truth, pursue it slowly with counsel. If it is not, then be at peace as much as it depends on you and keep walking. Update your prayer list. Shift some names from inner circle to intercession. Update your digital footprints. Unfollow without fanfare if necessary. Mute without malice and fill the space with builders, not reminders. Update your memories. Thank God for the good. Learn from the bad and let both make you wise. Before we go, put this vow on your tongue so your future hears you. I will lead people well. I will keep my heart clean. I will honor in speech and in silence. I will not return to pick up offenses I laid at the cross. I will not retreat to please nostalgia. I will move forward without bitterness and without arrogance. My destiny is worth a clean heart. Now write this in big letters across a fresh page. Exit protocol. Honor, forgive, bless, advance. Date it, sign it, then do it. And watch how light your wings feel when you are not dragging yesterday's chains. How clear your mind becomes when your tongue refuses poison. How fast your feet move when your heart is unburdened. This is character. This is healing. This is kingdom. And this is how you keep rising without bitterness, without retreat toward a finish that makes the cemetery poorer and eternity richer. Listen carefully. You must understand this. Loneliness is not your final address. It is the hallway between where you were and who you are becoming. The king did not separate you to strand you. He separated you to seat you. I got news for you. What felt like an exit was actually an entrance. The silence after goodbye is the sound of the elevator opening. Write this down. Separation is preparation for connection at a higher level. Until you understand that God prunes before he promotes, you will keep trying to reattach old branches to new fruit and call it loyalty while you interrupt your own harvest. But not here and not now. You have forgiven. You have cleaned your heart. Now lift your head. The corridor is ending. The doors are opening. It is time to build your eagle company. Who are eagles? Do not idolize personalities. Identify principles. Eagles are not famous, they are focused. Eagles are not loud, they are disciplined. Eagles are not perfect, they are repentant and relentless. How do you recognize them? Watch their pursuit. Do they pursue God when no one is watching, or only the stage when everyone is clapping? Do they pursue excellence in private, or do they settle for average in public? Do they pursue discipline in their calendar, or do they chase chaos and call it creativity? Do they pursue impact that serves others, or do they chase applause that serves their ego? Listen carefully. Eagle company is marked by humility under authority, integrity under pressure, generosity without cameras, and consistency that outlasts mood. They don't sell you hype, they show you fruit. Write this down. Direction reveals connection. If our direction is the same, our connection will not strain. Now, how do you find them? Do not wait for a mystical roll call. Move into the places where weight is carried and purpose is executed. Serve where the vision is bigger than your comfort. Volunteer in kingdom work where outcomes matter and excuses don't show up early. Stay late, carry chairs, take notes, make things better without being asked. Join purpose-driven communities where prayer is normal and responsibility is expected. Plant yourself under leaders whose lives align with their lips. Seek mentorship, don't chase celebrities, chase character. Send your questions, not your selfies. Bring your diligence, not your demands. Contribute value first, solve a problem that no one wants to touch. Create a system that saves people time. Carry excellence like a gift and leave the room better than you found it. Be consistent. Nothing attracts eagles like reliability. Write this down. Access is earned through consistency and character. Let me pastor your networking, because kingdom connections are not parasitic, they are covenantal. You are not hunting people to use them. You are pursuing alignment to serve the assignment. Stop walking into rooms asking, who can lift me? Walk in asking, who can I lift? What can I carry? Where can I add order? Favor follows servants. Opportunity recognizes stewardship. When you show up predictably with excellence and honor, eagle company will test you and then they will trust you. Remember the law. Eagles test before they trust. Do not be offended by delayed access. Be faithful under observation. The test is the bridge to the table. I want to correct a dangerous tendency. Do not worship your mentors. Honor them. Learn from them. But keep your knees for the king. The moment you idolize a person, you blind yourself to truth about them and truth for you. How do you keep honor clean? Measure fruit, not fame. Watch the edges. Speech, family, finances, follow through. Do their words create weight in you that births obedience? Do their private practices echo their public promises? Are they submitted to correction? If the answers are yes, learn with joy. If not, step back with honor. Write this down. Discernment is protection, not suspicion. You guard your destiny by guarding your gates. Now hear me like a father. As you rise, you become the environment for others. You are not only looking for eagle company, you are becoming eagle company. Your discipline becomes a permission slip for someone hiding in mediocrity. Your punctuality rebukes someone's excuses. Your purity makes compromise uncomfortable. Your generosity creates a culture where selfishness is embarrassed. You are a thermostat, not a thermometer. You set the temperature of faith, work, and love wherever you go. Stop waiting for better rooms. Be the better room. Speak life without flattery. Correct without contempt. Celebrate without jealousy. Keep confidences like a vault. And keep the standard even when no one is watching. That is when the king watches most. Let's get practical, because destiny respects deadlines. If you are ready for eagle company, say it out loud like an announcement to your environment. I'm joining the top. Again, until your habits hear you, I'm joining the top. Now open your journal. At the top of a clean page, write Eagle Company Activation. Under it, record one decisive action you will take within 72 hours to connect with purpose-aligned people. Make the call to a mentor and request a 15-minute counsel slot with your questions prepared. Enroll in the course you've been postponing that builds the skill your assignment needs. Show up at the early prayer you keep saying is too early. Join the team that serves without applause and bring excellence until excellence becomes the new normal. Start a dawn accountability huddle for builders. 3 people, 1 scripture, 1 goal, 1 check-in. Choose one, date it, time it, commit to it, then do it. Say with me, decision now, confirmation later. Some of you will say, but I tried and no one responded. Listen carefully. Rejection is often redirection. Keep knocking on the right doors. Eagle nests are not on the sidewalk. They're on high rocks. You will need persistence to find them and patience to be invited in. Do not resent the test. Pass it. Do not despise small beginnings. Dominate them. If the room will not have you yet, build the room you wish existed and let your consistency advertise it. Start with 2 faithful people and treat them like 12. God can multiply what is faithful. Your new circle is not a miracle. It is a habit. Keep showing up. Keep producing fruit. Keep your heart clean and your standards high. I bless you with discernment to spot builders in a crowd, with courage to initiate without insecurity, with humility to sit in the back and learn, and with boldness to step forward when responsibility calls your name. I decree over you a circle that sharpens, not dulls, that prays, not praise, that multiplies, not drains. May the King assign to you men and women who love truth more than comfort, who love excellence more than applause, who love purpose more than convenience. And may you be to them what you seek from them, a covenant friend, a principal partner, a faithful finisher. Say this with me as a covenant. I refuse isolation. I choose alignment. I refuse flattery. I choose sharpening. I refuse convenience. I choose covenant. I refuse popularity. I choose purpose. God has not separated me to leave me stranded. He has separated me to connect me to my next level. Again, louder like a verdict. God has not separated me to leave me stranded. He has separated me to connect me to my next level. Now, make the call, send the email, register for the training, show up early, bring your hands, bring your honor, bring your excellence. Become the environment you are praying to find and watch the King sit you among builders. Are there eagles in this room? Then join me at the top and let your company become your confirmation that elevation was never about escaping people. It was about finding your people so you can finish your assignment and make the cemetery poorer and eternity richer. Listen carefully. You must understand this. We are at the final test, the threshold where many turn back because the cheers get louder than the calling. The invitations multiply while your conviction feels narrow. The room loves you, but the King is pointing to the next mountain. The tragedy is not that you were lonely for a season. The tragedy is that you might die with unopened gifts because you stayed where you were celebrated instead of where you were called. I got news for you. The cemetery is still the wealthiest place on the planet. Ideas never delivered, books never written, solutions never built, songs never sung, companies never launched, ministries never birthed. Don't you dare add to its fortune. Write this down. Die empty, not popular. The applause of today is not the approval of destiny. One makes you famous for a moment, the other makes you faithful unto the end. The problem is not that you lack opportunities. The problem is that you have too many that are not yours. The truth is, a crowded calendar can be a coward's hiding place. You can drown your assignment in good things and call it serving, while heaven calls it stalling. Until you understand that purpose demands precision, you will keep negotiating with invitations that flatter your insecurity while bankrupting your impact. Popularity pays in claps. Purpose pays in fruit. Which currency will you carry to the judgment seat? The sound of people's hands or the evidence of a finished assignment? Look me in the face with your spirit and answer, which one will you live for? I want you to make a decision right now, because destiny moves at the speed of obedience. No more vague intentions. No more drifting elevation. Write this down. Within 24 hours, I will do one act of ruthless alignment. That means a cancellation, a yes to the one thing you've avoided, a conversation to clarify boundaries, a signed commitment to the training your assignment requires. Date it. Within 7 days, I will finalize a 90-day focus plan. 3 measurable goals that serve my purpose. 3 daily disciplines that guard my mind. 3 relationships I will invest in with intentionality. Put it on paper. Put it on your wall. Put it where your excuses can see it and tremble. Within 90 days, I will submit a progress report to someone with the authority to correct me. Not a friend who flatters. A leader who cares enough to confront. Say this with me. So time hears you. Decision now, confirmation later. Again, like a verdict. Decision now, confirmation later. You say, but will I have the strength, the endurance? Hear the promise of the King that sanctifies everything we have taught. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. This is not poetry. This is policy from the throne. Wait does not mean passive. Wait means braid your weakness into his strength. It means exchange your breath for his wind, your panic for his pace. Renew does not mean hype up. Renew means receive again what obedience requires. Mount up is not a suggestion. It is a command to those who lean into him. Run and not be weary. Endurance is the evidence that grace is present. Walk and not faint. Consistency is the miracle you have been asking for, and it is granted to those who align, who obey, who stay. Now, let me place a covenant in your mouth and routine in your calendar, because belief without behavior is fantasy. Write this down. A covenant of focus. Daily I will meet God before I meet men. Word before world. Prayer before platform. Worship before work. Daily I will guard my gates. One focus block for creation, not consumption. My phone serves my purpose, not seduces it. Daily I will honor my body, because fatigue is a liar. Sleep as stewardship. Movement as maintenance. Purity as protection. Weekly I will submit to counsel. Teach me, correct me, send me. Weekly I will fast something that fights my focus. Food, media, noise, the addiction to being needed. Monthly I will audit. What did I produce? Whom did I serve? What needs pruning? And through it all, I will treat relationships as holy. Access is earned. Boundaries are blessed. Eagles test before they trust. This is not legalism. This is leadership over your own life. You were made to govern you before you govern anything else. You will be misunderstood. Get used to it. When you choose assignment of applause, some will call you proud. When you set boundaries, some will label you cold. When you refuse mediocre opportunities, some will lecture you about humility. The truth is, you are not rude, you are responsible. You are not distant, you are directed. You are not difficult, you are definitive. Ask yourself, am I obeying the King? If yes, then let them talk while you build. Let them guess while you grow. Let them watch while you finish. Put this sentence on your tongue whenever distraction knocks. I am doing a great work and I will not come down. Say it until your bones believe it. Say it when a familiar voice tries to drag you back to crumbs. Say it when a new stage tries to seduce you away from stewardship. I am doing a great work and I will not come down. I want to talk to your fear of dying unknown. Hear me. It is better to finish your assignment in a cave with heaven's approval than to trend on every feed and arrive at the end full of what you were too afraid to pour out. What is the point of 1 million followers and a bankrupt legacy? What is the value of being liked by people you were sent to lead if their applause made you abandon your blueprint? Write it down. I choose fulfillment over fame, obedience over optics, completion over compliments. Your destiny is worth the distance. It is worth the silent seasons, the misunderstood separations, the storms that trained your wings, the nest that pricked you until you flew. It is worth it because at the end, there is a crown for those who finish, not a trophy for those who were noticed. Now we close with a decree, a chant that seals this moment to your future. Open your mouth and speak it like a contract with heaven. I will not come down. Again, stronger. I will not come down. I will not compromise. Say it with fire. I will not compromise. I will not die full. Say it like you are emptying right now. I will not die full. I will mount up. Say it as prophecy. I will mount up. One more time, all together as an army of eagles. I will not come down. I will not compromise. I will not die full. I will mount up. I bless you now with the tenacity of finishers, with the clarity of the focused, with the courage of the obedient. May your mornings be governed by his voice and your nights be guarded by his peace. May your feet run and not be weary. May your hands build and not be broken. May your heart stay clean and your eyes stay fixed. Refuse the addiction to applause. Accept the anointing for assignment. Choose obedience now so that when your time is up, you will lay your head down empty, poured out, spent well, unregretted, and the cemetery will have to confess it received nothing from you. Are there eagles in this room? Then join me at the top and let's make the graveyard poorer and eternity richer by finishing what we were born to do. Your destiny is worth the distance. Go, obey, and mount up.